Hello everyone, I haven't done a video for a while. I've been working on myself really, and I've got a number of things coming up in the pipeline that I'll let you all know soon, rather than waiting for things to open up, and find locations. I'm gonna start on Zoom. I'm gonna start a Zoom account and hold weekly meditations and workshops as well, and also the study groups. Study groups will be free. The weekly meditations will be free, but I'll probably charge for the weekend workshops. They'll probably be 3-day workshops. I'm going to cover a wide variety of topics that can basically help us in everyday life. So today I've been trying to figure out the best way to share this, because on one level there's no right, wrong, good or bad, but I almost feel like I have to apologize in some way, because with what the Illuminati do, okay, I've known that for nearly 11 years now, and I decided back then I would never share it, okay. And in 2019, 2020, early 2020, when I saw that things were being exposed, I thought, you know what, maybe now is the time to share this information. And I did. I shared it on a few podcasts. I've shared a lot of the conspiracy stuff. I've shared a lot of what they do, which I swore I'd never do, because I thought these are the truth vibrations. I still believe that. These are the truth vibrations. These are the lies being exposed. And this is, if we see it, we can move away from it. Okay. And to some degree, that's still taking place. That's still happening. And I think a lot of people are seeing it for what it is and all the rest of it. But there's a big but there. But I'm also seeing a lot of people who have found out about this information stuck in it. Okay. It's definitely not serving them. They definitely can't see. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how they don't know how to take it in and not be affected by it. A lot of people are being affected by it. A lot of people can't stop reading it and watching it. This is very important and interesting to observe, is because you have to be at a certain level to do this. In your journey, right? You have to be able to understand what information is coming into your being, and this is food, this is water, this is everything. So, if you're having polluted water come into your system, it's not just going to be detrimental to the body. It's going to be detrimental to your spiritual channels. It's going to be detrimental to the way you think, because the mind and body have such a strong connection anyway. And it's exactly the same with food. It's exactly the same with how we breathe, but it's also exactly the same as the information we take in. So whatever we're taking in, it is countless phenomena coming to shape our reality. Okay, so we have to be careful if we don't have an unshakable heart. And I'm not saying I do have that, but I've done a lot of work on myself and on how to handle this type of information, because I've known it for so long, and it's obviously a part of my journey, because I don't really necessarily I didn't want to know this when I found it out. It's very full on for me, but it came into my awareness. What can I do? I can either deal with it the best way I can or not. And that's why I never shared it, because I know how detrimental this information is. And I'm seeing people all the time who know what's going on and are still reading the same things every day. that is shaping their reality that is not serving them. Okay? A lot of people are contacting me and they're saying, I've just got terrible thoughts, Nick. I'm so angry. I'm so upset. And this, that, and the other. Now, if this is happening and it's due to some of the things I've shared, have I saved you? No, I actually haven't. I've actually probably done you a disservice. So I absolutely need to apologize for that on your spiritual journey. Take responsibility for sharing that. Okay, so so I do apologize for that, because we don't have long. We really don't. Like, one insight I've had recently is how fast the last 10 years have gone by. A decade. My son's 11 now. He's 12 in March. It's just like that. And I thought to myself, wow, 100 years of age now is considered a long time to live. And we get told we live the longest we've ever lived, which I genuinely don't believe at all. I think we're not lasting anywhere near as long as we have done in the past and should do. But let's say you get 100 years, which is very rare now. You only get 10 decades. And the first 10 you're a kid. Second 10 you're pretty daft doing silly things. Third 10 you might have a kid. So the first 10 years of the kid's life is gone. And then maybe if you're lucky enough, you might start doing spiritual practice for maybe 10, 20 years or maybe more, who knows? You might get on it later, I don't know. And then, some people might, have grandkids. And then maybe, I don't know, some people might suffer the last 10 years of their life before they transition. It's not a long time. It's really not a long time if you actually reflect on it. Therefore, this is why in Buddhism and in Taoism, in all the ancient traditions, but Buddhism specifically, they say you can't waste a second on your spiritual journey. You really can't, because there's environments, you see, that they talk about, which are very important, okay? So you have, if in your life you have the opportunity to find the Dharma, find the spiritual teachings, if you have a teacher, that's another one, a true teacher. If you have a body that allows you, all your faculties and your health, that allows you to practice the Dharma, the spiritual teachings, and you have an environment that supports it, okay? You have a family that supports it, you're born in a country or whatever, you're able to practice the Dharma. These conditions manifest once in kalpas. Kalpas are measurements of time in Buddhism, which are just eons of time. In Tibetan Buddhism, they say it's the equivalent of a piece of cardboard floating in the ocean and a turtle just coming up randomly and banging his head on this piece of cardboard. It's literally that unique that those environments manifest, okay? It is not guaranteed that we're going to have a human life after this life. It's not. In fact, it's a lot of Buddhist masters say you've got a greater chance of going down if you've wasted this life, if you don't do spiritual practice in this life. So why am I sharing this? This is not to be afraid of, but this is just to understand that we need to do spiritual practice. It's the solution out of this situation that we're in. We're in a situation collectively where we're controlled and we're suffering because we're so attached to matter. We're so attached to the manifested world. But there is a world which is beyond this world, which governs this world. I said in yesterday's meditation, we see the sun going through the sky, but we don't see the energy that pushes it through the sky. We don't even see the energy that pushes our car when we drive or moves our hand. Therefore, we don't see the energy that grows a tree. We see it growing over years, but we don't see the information in the field that is pushing the tree up. Therefore, there is a world that we just don't acknowledge, that is outside of human sight, which is governing this world, universal laws and principles. And beyond all of that, there is a field of stillness. We need to focus on that because the manifested world is impermanent. I've just said 100 years, if we're lucky, it goes like that. Buddha said it's like a lightning bolt. It's like a flash of lightning. And in the scale of time, it's like a flash of lightning. Therefore, we can't waste this opportunity, especially when we do have access to the teachings and the Dharma. So therefore, these things are going on in the world. But that doesn't mean that we spend all our time focusing on them and worrying about them. Buddha said, seek that which is not subject to birth and death. 2 lines from the Buddha that, in my opinion, are just vitally important, okay? Seek that which is not subject to birth and death, and reflect on that. Rather than me tell you what that is, right? Reflect on what that is. Meditate on it. And 84,000 methods of spiritual practice to enlightenment he shared in his lifetime. They can all be summed up in one sentence. And this sentence, whether you understand it or not, should be repeated every day. Say it every day with your eyes closed. Nothing is to be clung to as I, me, or mine. Because the Buddha's teaching on emptiness is very misunderstood throughout the rest of the world. Emptiness, and I'll put it as simple as possible, there's impermanence, dependent origination, and emptiness. They're 3 fundamental teachings to Buddhism. In the manifested world, everything is impermanent. Everything is always changing. The person listening to this video, you now is a new being. The person that was listening at the start of this video 12 minutes ago is literally dead now. Okay, so we're all afraid of dying. The past is dying all the time. Okay, the body is changing all the time. So impermanence is beautiful because it allows for growth. So everything's impermanent. Everything that arises depends on everything else. If you look at the phone that I'm recording this on, I mean, you can do it for everything. And I've repeated this teachings many times. But think about it. Whether it's a cup, a chair, a tree, a human being, a thought, an illness, okay? If it arises, it depends on everything else. Therefore, if I look at this phone, I've labelled it a phone. Well, someone has, and we've all agreed on it. But the fact is that this phone is dependent on all the parts in it that were made in different places, the minerals and the materials that it came from, the people who engineered it, the thoughts they had, the food they ate, all their ancestors, the people that influenced their ideas for it, the factories that brought it together, the people who built the factories, the people who built this, the people who shipped the phone to different places, all the rest of it. Okay, you can trace every aspect of why this phone is in front of me, recording me. You can trace it back to the source. Then you've got the message on the phone. You've got me, an image of me. So you've got all of my ancestors. You've got all my teachers' ancestors, the wisdom I'm sharing. You've got the Buddha in there, all of his masters and teachers, and it goes on and on and on. So everything that arises depends on everything else. So where does emptiness come in? We call this a phone, but the only thing it's empty of is a separate self-identity called a phone. It's empty of a separate self. It depends on everything else. Therefore, to be empty of a separate self-identity, you become full of everything else. It's a profound teaching. And when you see the world that way, nothing becomes the separate self-identity anymore. A blank piece of paper doesn't become a blank piece of paper. It becomes the tree the ocean, the rain, the clouds, the earth that grew the tree, the person that chopped it down, the person that cut the axe, made the axe, and so on and so forth. Everything's dependent. Even emptiness is dependent on form. Nothing is an isolated phenomenon. Nothing. Not even a thought. A thought depends on what influenced the thought. A sickness depends on the bad choices in food or the negative thinking. Everything's interdependent. It's a very important teaching, because we can look deeper into what's going on in the world, and we can detach from what's going on in the world. We really need, at this stage, in my opinion, we need to focus on what we want and stop playing this game collectively. We need to detach from the world and seek that which is not subject to birth and death, and meld, spend more time with this universal oneness from which we all come from and will all return to. And stop observing the negativity. I've shared a lot of negativity. As I said, I take full responsibility for that. But and I apologize if what I've shared has affected your soul journey. There was a method to it. I thought, here's our chance. We're going to all see what's going on. We're going to ride this wave, and we're all going to grow out of what's happening. But we're not. We're still playing the game. It's like we're getting attached to the information, and it's Groundhog Day. It's becoming like it's becoming just detrimental. We're just adding. In my opinion, we're just adding more. And it is helping some people. I get that. There's going to be a lot of people who are saying, if we didn't share this, it wouldn't. We wouldn't have woke up this many people. But a lot of people are going to wake up anyway in these times because of how hard they're pushing at the minute. But if my words don't resonate with you, that's totally fine. My point is just, I think it's important to focus on meditation right now. It's been my message from the start. Don't get me wrong. But keep our information clean, okay? Because we live in the yin yang universe, so there's just as much good news as bad news. So what we need to do, in my opinion, is clean our information. If something comes through and it's COVID related, then you know that before you even open it, you already know it. You already know that it's what it is, right? You don't need to open it. Just focus on your breath, do a meditation, chant a mantra, whatever you need to do. I'm not going to be sharing any of this stuff anymore, and I'm going to be focusing more now on doing groups on Zoom. I'll be setting up I'm going to speak to my friend today. We're going to get onto, he's going to help me out to really navigate Zoom, so I can do presentations on there as well. And all I'm going to do now is focus on spiritual practices, answering questions for people, helping people to experience different stages of meditation, detach from the world, and really try and put our focus on the spiritual dimension and work on solutions, on the solution for humanity. I love you all very much. I'll keep you all posted. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.